Holy! That has been another huge week of reveals and sneaky peeks and looky looks and things. Oh man. Let's start with some of the little bitty bits that we've gotten since I last did one of these and talked to peeps. So we got to see Gigawatt and Maverick, Back to the Future and Top Gun respectively. Gigawatt, which I'm pretty sure is his name, that was really exciting. I think every Transformers fan at some point has been sitting around and being like, you know what would make a really good Transformer? That mother flipping time machine. And so we're getting it. Just the slightest of quibbles. His chest, little boxy, but that's real minor. Thank you. I feel bad for even bringing it up. As for Maverick, I don't really care. Maybe if it had been an awesome toy, I'd be more into it, but Top Gun wasn't a huge nostalgia one for me. We didn't watch that a hell of a lot coming up. On to the Pulse Fans First Friday event. Exciting stuff. The first one was pretty cool. This one was juicy. We got to see a lot. It was funny that they acknowledged that they got scooped on the whole exhaust and grease pit release thing. Grease pit, gimme now. Exhaust, although the dude in the thing, Mark, did get me real hyped about all of the decals and graphics on the figures. That must be his job. Maybe they said it and I missed it. But also, just while we're on that, how cooked was that dude? Like, hilariously cooked, but man, Mark was wasted. I think the best bit about that sort of preamble for me was finding out conclusively that Rotostorm is going to have a new head. Yeah! Now, on to some of the Netflix goodies. So, we got a new line of deluxes, and with all those deluxes you can make the diorama, which is pretty dope. I want to see some images of it all completed. I had picked up most of these characters, much like the first wave, in the main line. And they came out in these cooler decos, or arguably, if you didn't like the battle damage, worse decos. Love the battle damage. It's an interesting one, because is Bumblebee coming out as part of mainline Earthrise? I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that he was, but maybe that version that I read somewhere was actually talking about the Netflix version. So in that instance, it's cool to have another line where we can get some other characters and fill it out like that so that you're not double dipping. But then the flip side of that is, those characters that are getting different decos with the Netflix series, are people going to start skipping the mainline release to pick up that alternate, different, better deco? So in terms of the other figures that are coming out as part of that second wave, Bumblebee's a get, if I don't see him in any other mainline Earthrise release. Alita 1 is a definite get, because that's really cool. I do love her Combiner Wars figure, but because she's got some clout to her. It's like a Brienne of Tarth kind of dealio. But Impactor I got in the Mirage set because I like the Spartan helmet more. Wheeljack I'm completely fine with the Earthrise one. Red Alert is an easy pass because I've got already a kind of scuffed Red Alert. Now the Voyagers they showed us, that's where things get a little bit more interesting for me. That Optimus and Soundwave, God, they're going to be hard to pass up. That Optimus Prime with an extra couple of Battle Masters, particularly the Energon Axe version. Clever use of that mold. But that Soundwave, I love Siege Soundwave, but there was something about seeing him in like the more royal blue and the cassette tape of it all, so you can like Star-Lord about the place if you wanted to. I'll probably end up getting him. Right? The other thing I noticed, to me, just in the model, it looked a little bit like his chest was deeper and slightly more cavernous, and maybe the 2 cassettes can go in him. That would be pretty rad. Lastly, that sort of Decepticon looking leader spoiler box. I think it's probably going to be Astro Train with a different weapons loadout. That's my bet. That's what I'm putting out there. Because I don't think it'll be Double Dealer. think it's potentially too soon for Double Dealer, but that said, we are getting Earthrise figures in this second wave. Then they showed us something that had been, unfortunately, spoiled the day or so before the official release, which is the Earthrise 2-packs. It was still a pretty cool reveal, because the only other image that we'd been shown was pretty, like, it was low res. So that made it awesome to get to see the CG models and the packaging art and stuff properly for these figures. The Ironhide and Prowl box, I will definitely try and get, because I hate Siege Prowl. I just think it's such a lame, flimsy, nothingy sort of toy that was a terrible use for that character. I don't understand why they pushed it out so many times. From the look of Smokescreen, it seems like they fixed a lot of the things that I really didn't like. So getting, you know, that back again to Datsun of Prowl is sick. I'm in love with Siege Ironhide, so I'm not super gagging for an Ironhide update, because that Siege one gives me hard vibes from that IDW Ironhide sort of standalone comic. I've read that so many times. I love that comic. As for the Coneheads, yes, please. I do love that the Coneheads give you a chance to throw in a little bit of variation to your Seeker lineup, which makes them feel more realistic to me as a unit, because they can't all be the same. Like, I know that's their thing, but I love the Coneheads because they have their different wings and stuff. It'll just look good. Who am I trying to convince with this? I think we all think that they're gonna look good, and we all want them, and we're all gonna try and get them. And then the last thing they showed us, the 86 Quintesson Judge pack. I want it so badly. I honestly can't remember the last time I saw some kind of exclusive-y box setty dealio that I've wanted as much as I want that 86 movie courtroom pack. It works on so many levels. It hits me on the loving that 86 movie level. I live for that movie. It hits me on the cool packaging box set, because I love a box set. And then also from the army building perspective, because that Quintesson Judge is a different deco to the mainline one, and I think we all know that the Bailiff is incredibly different. He had a different chest piece, different head, different shoulder pauldrons, completely different apps, and that's enough to me to want him to fill out, like, if you had 3 regular guys and then that guy, it just feels so much like your side-scrolling video game sprite difficulty upgrade dealio. It's like, oh crap, that looks just like that guy, but with slightly spikier shoulders and a different color scheme. I'm willing to bet he has a projectile that the other guy just doesn't have. And then the diorama cardboard scene that it comes with is really cool, and I think it's really neat the way that they're trying to include that into their packaging and stuff, because, you know, if they're going to be in packaging, you may as well make it as functional as possible so it minimizes the waste as much as you can. I'm sure I'm not the only person who would rather potentially pay an extra, I don't know, 30-40 bucks for the set, for that to be plastic. That would be so rad, and I would buy more diorama box sets that came with that kind of hardier display option. Hearing me? Hasbro? You listening? We want playsets. I get that you can make playsets, but they're for little dudes. I just want something rad that my regular dudes can chill in, and I can look over at it and be like, I remember that time with that thing. This is probably all a little bit of a pipe dream. Because it makes sense, but everything on there that they showed us is exclusive Pulsey stuff. Now, if you're in the US, that's fine. You can go to like Walmart or Costco or wherever the crap the Netflix ones are coming out. That one enrages me less, because luckily for us here in Australia, Kmart, whoever did that at Kmart, big thank you, by the way. Because otherwise I had never imagined we'd be able to get those exclusives. But as for stuff that's only available on Pulse, it's a weird thing to do to what is a very, like, loyal fan base. Like, I was born in '86, so I have never known a world without Transformers. And I want them in my world. I have money, I want to give you the money, and it's like, oh, well, you can still get it through like this or like, you know, this online retailer, but there's always a markup that people in the US don't have to pay, and then the extra shipping on top is quite the kick in the nuts. It just, like, I know that's a real privileged thing to be upset about, but I am, alright? But they need to find a way to get these products more readily available to overseas collectors, because it's redonkulous. Fingers crossed that they come out on Australian Amazon this time round. I tried to get them on American Amazon, but they're geo-blocked, which I guess is another evolution of Geodude. But it just seems like a strange like corporate diss. I mean, I'm sure there's reasons for it, but I don't know what they are. And without knowing them, I can't empathize with them. So in lieu of that, just give me my toys. So yeah, I think that pretty well brings us to the end of everything we've found out over the last week or so, and particularly that final event. Aren't you forgetting something? Does that work? The reason that I've got Rhinox out is because we found out via someone cracking the poster code, the word kingdom, that fit with what people had kind of already sort of thought about that rumoured Cheetor release. We've had some pepperings with Power of the Primes and in Cyberverse to get people used to the idea of Cat Bumblebee coming back. And then we get Netflix drop it officially that the third installment of the War for Cybertron is going to be Kingdom, where the bots we know and love from G1 go back in time to hang out with the Beast Wars characters, which is problematic to me because the Beast Wars characters have gone back in time to hang out with the G1 bots, albeit in their Mushi form. Thinking about it is kind of weird that they didn't activate Teletran 1 to get everyone up and kicking again. Oh, that's right, they didn't want to ruin the timeline. You've got to respect the timeline. I can't wait to see what some of these Kingdom figures are going to be. Like, that real low-res poster that we got was really cool to get some hype going. I think people have said, like, it's probably going to be here, right? I think people have said that next to Prime, that clearly not Beast Wars character is Bumblebee, but I can kind of get that from the head, but looking at the chest, that just doesn't look like a Bumblebee chest to me. And when we just got revealed this Netflix one, I don't think it's Bumblebee, but we get to see Dinobot, I think up in the corner, it's kind of twisted, but it looks like Megatron in T-Rex mode. We see Black Arachnia. It looks like on the other side, kind of lurking, is Rhinox. We see Scorponok, Air Razor, but Air Razor with a really white head, which makes me wonder, is next year's Commander class figure going to be Magnaboss? If it is, you owe me a Coke. Then down under that, we have Tigatron, and he's got like a Smilodon thing going on, which is pretty rad. It would be cool if they kind of tweaked everyone's beast modes to get a little more prehistoric with it. I have thought that before. Then behind Tigatron, I can't tell who that is. Except sometimes when I squint at it right, it almost looks like Slag, Triceratops. And then up in the top, which is pretty interesting, we get to see Megatron with a beam of light cutting his face in half, and on the other side he's Galvatron. So we're getting a lot of 86 flavor mixed in with this as well, because Studio Series is apparently going hard 86. Or are they going to try and split teams and characters across the two lines to further the agenda of slowly just having one Transformers Collector's mainline rather than the two, as Studio Series must be running out of characters by now, surely. At least until the next movie comes out. And when you think about it, like, the Beast Wars anniversary is coming up, but it also makes sense when in the Masterpiece line they've already gotten to do a little bit of concept testing with having a few Vsauce characters come out at that price point and scaling and stuff. And so I guess they figure, well, if that many people were willing to pay $500 dues for a T-Rex Megatron that is notorious for breaking as you handle it, then there's a good chance that people are more than happy to pay 90 bucks Australian to have a slightly simplified version of that, because Earthrise definitely took a lot of cues from the Masterpiece engineering. Like, it really is Masterpiece Junior in so many ways. So it'd be really cool if we see that. But it's hard to imagine getting a toy that is better than this Rhinox.
Beast Wars!
So yeah, that's pretty well a wrap on that. If you've enjoyed my robot ramblings, like and subscribe in the bits, ring the bells, bang the drums. Make way, here he comes. Oh, you're gonna love this guy. Make sure to let me know in the comments below your thoughts and theories on who we could be getting and what's coming up in Kingdom and who's in that goddamn Decepticon ammo case. Is it Double Dealer? I'm gonna be real cheesed if it's Double Dealer.